Welcome to the Bobby Sun News Channel. And today I want to address uh, an issue that plagues us as a generation time and time again. It's used for selling points. It's used for a distraction from main events. It's used to move a narrative of something that demographically may or may not ever happen like that. But the narrative is pushed. What am I talking about? I'm talking about 2024, 2012, the movie. I'm talking about all the other disaster movies that shock people into doing things, buying things, and living lifestyles that at the end of the day, regardless of the precautions, regardless of the things you do, all of that is in vain unless you accept the truth, live by the 10 Commandments, have some type of religious structure of morals, of life values. Because say the movie is called Civil, right? So the movie is about people, the humans, overrunning humans. Okay, so it's basically saying that we're going to get invaded by our own people and have to be like the Holocaust all over again in the in this century. How could that happen? There's always militias. I won't name drop. I won't say any members or anything. There's militias on U.S. soil that's waiting for these days to come. There's always Americans that bear arms that will stand up against whoever invades the United States because we're United States citizens. America, the country boy will survive. At the end of the day, the Whitakers will be the people that survive when society falls apart. Mark, with the money that he embezzled, fraudulently obtained, due to the fact of he sold a movie to Americans, right? And then at the end of the day, when you look at the sequel, the part 2, you see that there's a new main character. Everything else about the character's housing situation, his life story is completely different from the narrative of what you were told by the storyteller, Morgan Freeman, in the background of the movie being played. But he got sold, though. See, a lot of times people don't look at how things were back in the day. You used to be able to somebody would tell you, better not sell me no wolf tickets. What does that mean? Don't tell me a lie and think that when I find out that it's not the truth, that I'm going to still be just as green as I was before you cut me down with the stuff that you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, right, there's so many comments that's attacking me. At the end of the day, as a beneficiary of funds, there is no excuse for negligence or making decisions that aren't the best for the trust. Period. That's the Bernie Madoff shit. Bernie Madoff was a financial advisor or whatever he was, right? He told people that if you invest this, it'll go this way. But it didn't. It went to his fucking pockets. People lost their houses, their 401k, their everything. Everything they had. But Bernie Madoff killed himself in prison. But Mark is, oh, I didn't do anything. If you know someone's a drug addict, why are you giving them money that's allocated to house a family of more than one person? Shame on you. Shame on you for making that decision when you're in a power position. Shame on you. Shame on you for waiting 3 years before you even do a follow-up, because you're housing a fugitive in Hollywood with Airbnbs, money for drugs, cell phones, dresses for a man. How sick is that? But every time I commented on Rebecca's videos as a straight man, asking about the Whitakers, like, why are you doing this if the Whitakers still need help? My comments were reported as harassment or hate. Mark in his video said half of the comments hate you, half of the comments love you. The whole following is for the Whitakers getting housing, for their situation changing, not you being involved in the situation being the same. As a black man, you see things for what it is because of the demographical position that you're in, if you look at it from that perspective. Now, all my life, I've been angry because of my situation, because of white power. Because every time I look and try to do something, I'm being called a nigger. Why am I being called a nigger when at the end of the day, I just want to be loved? Why am I being called a nigger if at the end of the day, everybody else around me is doing 10 things wrong, but I'm doing everything right that I can do with what I was given, regardless of the cards and the faces that's on them? Why am I being called a nigger if I took care of my father while he was dying and no one else did? And then I get older and I look up the word nigger. Nigger is someone that's ignorant, lack of knowledge. Someone that isn't of having a sound mind. That's what I got of the noun and verbs definition. But, it's me being labeled as a nigger because of how I look. But, when you label a nigger by how the actions are displayed, you will never get recognition. People say, what is that? What do you mean? So, if you can't accept the truth of the matter of life, how far are you going to get? If you can't accept that you're surrounded by 10 people that mean you no good at the end of the day, they have no aspiration to change their position in life to not be a nigger. But you have a family. Do you know that you're going to lose yourself, your life, your family, and everything that you have, before those 10 people? Now, if there's 10 commandments in the Bible, and you are blowing through 8 of those over a 365-day period, what would be your grade if you was in school? You would get a D or F. Out of 10, you need to at least be doing 6 of those right, I'm pretty sure. But at the end of the day, right, a nigger figured that out. At the end of the day, right, there's so many people in the world right now that are homeless and on drugs, that are lost of the mind and of the soul, but have a spirit and living life, supposedly, allegedly, right now in this world. But they think, and they're being told, that you have to go to inpatient facilities, and that's a lie. I was on cocaine for 4 years, and I didn't get to an inpatient facility. I prayed, God, don't take my life. I'm sick of being in a situation of struggle. I'm sick of being here but nowhere. I'm sick of being looked at but not listened to. I'm sick of being everything but nothing. But this time I realized that you're real and I don't have no power over my position in life. Help me. If you take me out of this position, I'll give you all and everything of the grace that I never gave you when you saved me before, when I was doing wrong. And I have a year and 6 months sober. I didn't go lay down in no facility for 6 months. I mean, of course, I'm on the medicines and doing the demographical things that You have to do. At the end of the day, if you're doing wrong, nothing's going to change until you turn around and do right. But you have to accept the truth that you're the problem. You have to accept the truth that I did this. You have to accept the truth that when you're looked at by other people, the look that you're getting, the thoughts, the things that people say about you are because of the things that you've done. Unless that you're going to sit up there and look at that person in the face and say, look, I did this, but today's a new day and I've changed. And you need to accept the change that a person is able to evolve into. And at this point in my life, I'm at that stage by the grace of God. And move on with your life and never worry about what they're going to say to you, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a lot of times people can sit up here and use misery loves company and make it a real thing. If there's power in words, someone can put a spell on you, then why can't that be a thing? It's so many young people, 20 years old, smoking crack cocaine when crack came back in the 80s, and it was an older thing. If you're 20-some years old, why are you on crack? That's an old people drug. Like, it doesn't make sense. If you're not LBGT, why are you using ecstasy and Molly around males? If that's a sex drug. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. None of this stuff makes sense. None of this stuff makes sense. If you're not trying to die, why are you using fentanyl? It doesn't make sense. Demographically, it doesn't make sense. If you knew that your parents were a full-blown alcoholic and never did anything right, never had nothing, why would you do the exact same thing that they're doing? Why? Why? Like, if you see that your parents have never had nothing, nobody never took the time to spend with them, nobody took the time to love them right, why do you think it is? Everybody says it's cheaper to keep her, but at the end of the day, if a person is going to put their self in harm's way, when at the end of the day, that's not where they're supposed to be. If the world is built off love, and one of the commandments of the Bible is love thy neighbor, do unto thy neighbor if you have them do unto you, then why the hell does your neighbor not wave to you if you wave to your neighbor? Why the hell, if you walking in Walmart with your child and your child waves to somebody, the person sits up there and won't wave to a child, an innocent child? That is so ignorant, because you're pushing a narrative of hate. Like, people don't understand it. It starts with the little things and then it gets to big things. It's just like with a child committing crimes. It starts with stealing candy and then he's going to end up killing somebody 10 years later. It just is what it is. But at the end of the day, if you sit up here and show a kid or show somebody that I've been there and done that, and it's not going to get you nowhere except with nothing, dead or outside, because nobody's going to deal with you. When you burn your bridges, it's over with. Because when the bridge is gone, how you going to get across to the other side when I'm standing on the other side with a hot plate? If you can't swim across there with sharks and lions and everything else in there, how you going to do it without a boat? It's impossible. God walked on water, but there's no man with the capabilities of God on earth. Period. 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 I don't care what you say. You're wrong. At the end of the day, if you watch a movie and the movie influences you to go do something, you've been tricked already. Period. You've been tricked already. If you watch a movie and go straight home and be like, oh my God, you've been tricked already. The Bible has the most scariest stories that are actually detailed to the T of destruction and carnage than any movie I've ever seen in my life. And I haven't even got through the whole book. But I'll be touching on it. I'll be reading and you get a message and you get a story and you're like, oh my God, I need to stop doing that before that happens to me. Or you see somebody, you know somebody that done exactly what somebody in the Bible that sinned. And exactly what happened before Christ in the Bible happened to this day. It's the exact thing. Poof. And you're like, oh my God. That's kind of harsh, but I know somebody that did that and that's what happened to him. What is it? Oh, is it a freak of nature that it happened like that? Is it a freak of nature that people that, if God says thou shalt not kill, that killers get killed pretty quick? Is it a coincidence that God says thou shalt not lie, but most liars are homeless? Because at the end of the day, they couldn't tell the truth about their drug addiction? Am I wrong? This is the Bobby Sun News. I love you if nobody else does. And I'm here to talk to your heart, not to your mind. Peace.